Good morning. Welcome. It's Sunday, and today we're going to talk about the things I hated about being a nomad. Now, that might sound familiar. And that might sound familiar because that is the exact title that my business bestie, Stephanie Perry, used in her video yesterday. If y'all were here yesterday and you watched the video, you know it was a good old time. I should link to that. Let me go ahead and link to it in the description, in case you haven't seen it yet. But as I was watching it, I was like, ew, I have some of these ideas too. And like, they're different than Stephanie's. So I'm gonna give you mine. But first, I'm gonna check my text because this morning I sent Stephanie a text and said, can I use your video title? And she's here, but she ain't responded to me. So I have plagiarized all her stuff without her consent. But she knows, she sees it. She sees it. Oh, you didn't? I didn't get it means my phone don't make noises. Her phone don't make noises like mine doesn't. She didn't see that text. She got it, but she ain't seen it. It's been delivered. So anyhow, we are doing the exact same things yesterday, but I have different things to talk about because everyone's experience as a nomad, everyone's experience bopping around is different. And so I wanted to share that with you. Sorry, I got a weird message. Let me see what's going on. They asked me if I'm going live at 3 p.m. and I'm like, it says now, no? Okay. Noodle. Let me make sure my sounds don't go off. If you're new here, my sound went off. If you're new here, my name is Rashida Dow. I'm a career break coach. I am the founder of Exodus Summit, going into our 4th year of helping women move abroad and take career breaks. And so super excited to be here with you guys. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, why YouTube is giving me all a different time. In my brain, I'm trying to do that and talk at the same time, and I'm struggling. So let me not worry about that. Everyone is here is here. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever YouTube is doing is fine. Anyhoodle. Y'all know I love you. Wait, we are. And we're in the season right now where we talk to each other like 6 times a day. We're always like, you have time for a meeting? You have time? Like every other text is like, you have time to talk? And I love this season. And then I miss her when we get, after summer is over, and I don't talk to her 6 times a day anymore. I'm like, oh, where's my friend? Where'd my friend go? But where we went is to sleep. Anyhow, if you're watching this for the first time, videos start like this. A little off track, a little whatever, but here we are. So today we're talking about the things I hated about being someone who bopped around. And let me give you some background first. In 2018, the company I was working for went out of business. And they were like, if you can stay for an additional 6 months, we'll double your salary every paycheck. And I was like, I can stay for 6 months. Now I hated them people. It's not that I hated them. They were just very rude. And I don't know if you guys have ever been in a position where you're in a company that's going out of business, but the people aren't exactly happy. Like, we all had different departure dates. I was one of the last 2 employees. Me and the CEO were the last ones out. I was a lawyer. I was the only lawyer left at the company. So me and the CEO were the last ones out. Most of my job while I was like busy was answering random people's in the company's emails. We had more than 1,000 employees. And every time someone had a question, Could be legal, could be not. They'd be like, Rashida knows, and then email me a question. Well, when we got down to like 2 or 3 employees, people weren't emailing me like that. So most of my time was just chilling. I still hated them people because they were rude, and they got ruder when they started going out of business, when they knew their jobs were ending. And the other part about the company ending, this is kind of random, but I feel like the context helps. When they decided to sell the assets, the company went into business and we sold the assets. When they decided to sell the assets, they put people in the position, like, you used to market car leases, and now you're in the position of how to best value the assets, right? Like they gave people responsibilities that they weren't equipped to handle. And what are people nice and kind when they're drowning? No. Some people might be like, excuse me, miss, can you help me? I'm drowning. But most people are flailing about and will drag down anybody they can see. And so they were real dragging people down and like coming to me with stuff that was not my problem. I needed a break. So I went to my therapist, who, I feel like I've said this, I know I've said this before, but this was the key. The therapist for me, my therapist, who I wanted a Black therapist. I'm all over the place, but I'm gonna tell you, I wanted a Black therapist, but because, I wanted a Black woman. I want to talk to a Black woman because I talked to like white men before and it was just never connecting. But the therapist I ended up with was a white woman. She was Eastern European. And I tell you, that woman like saved my life. I was in a place where the job was like impacting me physically, like in significant ways. I have some autoimmune issues, and they were like I left a meeting once, and within an hour, all my issues were flared, like big time. I could not. I have an eye thing. I couldn't see. Like I walked out of the building, walked 4 miles, came back, vision gone. 4 angry miles. Any hoodle. This therapist, Eastern European, I was going to her house telling her, she was like, they sound terrible. And I was like, you know how like most therapists are like, how do you feel about that? She was like, no, they sound like awful people. And I was like, yes, validate me. Yes, ma'am. That's nice. And then she was like, along the way, she was like, what if you just, like, you're trying really hard to do work that's going to make them happy. And she's like, what if you just abandoned that idea and did the least? I was like, what? She's like, what if you just did less? Like, do the least amount. She's like, can you do less work than you're doing right now and still keep your job? And I was like, yeah. This is not a video about quiet quitting, but it kind of turned into one because y'all know I love a story. It was quiet quitting in 2018. She was like, just do less. Do less. Give them the absolute minimum. Give them the like, I barely showed up energy. As long as you don't keep the paycheck, like, what does it matter? So that last 6 months, when they were paying me double, the last 2 months of that, I would be like, you have to check your email today. You have to do at least 30. I have to talk to myself. You have to do at least 30 minutes of work. You have to just check your email twice a day, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, like forcing myself. Because I was really on I'm not here for y'all. They're terrible people. I don't like y'all. Y'all write me crazy emails. You're being rude. No, thank you. And so I was stressed. I needed a break. So in that 6 months, I was supposed to be looking for a job. But like, I didn't want to work. I got a recruiter reached out to me for a job in the exact same building. It would have been at Square, which was in the same building I worked at. The exact same. And I went to the interview just mad. Like, why am I here? Why am I coming to an interview where I don't even want to be here? So I realized soon that the job search was not for me. I decided that taking a year off to travel was the right idea. I went to my therapist and she was like, yes, that's an excellent idea. I support you all the way. You should do that. And then I know some of you experience this too. Within like 2 weeks of that, I came back to her and I was like, what if I worked for a year and saved money? And then I went away. And she was like, you're bullshit. And I was like, what? Sorry, what? Like, you're not supposed to call me out like that. She was like, no, like, you're lying to yourself. Like if you don't take the break now, you're not going to go. So I went. I packed up my stuff, put it in storage. Don't do that. And went on a little goodbye tour of the US and Canada, saying bye to people I needed to say goodbye to. And then dropping my dog off, say goodbye to my dog. And then I went bopping around for what was supposed to be a year. That year changed my life in very significant ways. In that year, I realized I didn't want to move back to the US. When I left the US, my idea was I put my stuff in storage. I was in the Bay Area. I was going to come back. My idea was that I was going to be gone for a year and come back and find another job like my last job, another apartment like my last apartment. I was going to come back and do basically the same thing. Like 6 months into my trip, I was like, no, I can't do that. I'm so sorry. So bopping around as a nomad, just to give you some context, bopping around for me was like an extension of therapy. Now back then, I don't know what she's doing now, but my therapist was like, remote therapy when you're not in front of me? No. I won't. No. Once you leave California, you stop being my client. Once you leave this office, you're not my client anymore. Bye-bye. If you can't come to the office, no. So that therapist, that ended. But my nomadic year was supposed to be about rest and relaxation. I knew 6 months into it, I didn't want to go back. And I loved my year as a nomad, but there were things that happened to me, or that I experienced, not happened. That sounds so passive. I created some of these things. There were 8 things that I hated. Now, it's 11 minutes into it and I haven't started yet. Give me all your list. I have to make a note. Let me write a note. Skip to 12 minutes. If you're watching this on the replay, I hope you skip to 12 minutes. If you don't know me, you don't care about the story. Okay. I'll give you my list. I'll give you my list of what I didn't like, and then we'll walk through them all. The things that I hated. Yeah, I saw someone say, is this a coincidence that this video is the same as Stephanie's yesterday? No. I stole it. I will steal your stuff if I like your stuff. I texted her and told her I was stealing it, but I stole it. It's not a coincidence. So just like her, I'm going to give you the list up front, and then I'm going to walk through everything. Okay, the first thing was learning new languages. No. Second, unconstrained options, like just way too many options. Third, not having a feeling of home or familiarity and feeling like an outsider. Is this fourth? Fourth on my list, but probably number 1, no plants. I've got like 40 plants in my home. Plants are probably one of the reasons now that I don't travel more than I do. But, okay. It was expensive. That's 5th on the list. Okay. 6, loneliness. And my therapist warned, that was the only thing. She was like, you're going to have to deal with some loneliness. Like, what is your plan? That's the only thing she warned me about. She was like, yes, go for it. But what happens when you get lonely? What are you going to do? And I'll tell you what I did. 7, leaving friends behind. And 8, lots of pivoting. Lots of pivoting. I haven't counted lately, but propagation happens here all the time. For my non-plant people, that's taking a piece of a plant and turning it into a whole new plant of its own. Like you can do that with these. Pick off a little section, put it in water, and it's a new little plant. Propagation happens all the time. So like, I don't know exactly how many, but there are plant moments in my, there's like, if I have a wall, there are plants. I need a greenhouse. I do, which is funny because I do not like outside plants. Like that outside garden stuff is not for me. My mom is an outside plant person and has been her whole life, and I've been an inside plant person. And I've turned her on to inside plants. When I stayed with her in Florida, she had absolutely no inside plants. When I left, I think there were like at least 20. And Stephanie got some. And my godmom got some. All right. I am a plant mom for real. And so it was hard. I didn't have as many plants before I went on my break, but something about being nomadic made me realize that like plants are important to me. One of the plants I had, this fiddly fig, I gave to someone I worked with, and he sent me a photo of it the other day, like showing how well it's doing. It's beautiful. Yes. All right. First on the list, learning new languages. Someone actually, I think it was Amina, asked me how many languages I speak. I speak English. I speak patois. I speak some Spanish. Spanish is what messes me up though. Because English is, like a nonsense language. Let's be real. English is kind of a nonsense language. But Spanish is related to so many other languages that people will say something to me in another language, like Italian or French, and my brain can process it through Spanish. So I try to respond in Spanish. But that's not helpful to the person who asked me a question in French or said something to me in French. My response in Spanish is generally not helpful. But that is one of the issues I have when traveling. But so when I was traveling, I went to 44 cities and I think 28 countries in a year. Don't do that. It was too much. I traveled too fast. I should have slowed. If I was going to do it again, I would have slow traveled. We'll talk about why later. But I told myself, like every time I would go somewhere, I'd like try to learn some of the language ahead of time. But that was too much. And so then I was like, okay, I'll only learn a language if it's spoken in more than one country. But you know what that means? You know what I ended up learning? The colonizers' languages. Because those are the countries that are spoken in many countries. If the language is spoken in many countries, it's usually 99% sure it's because them people who spoke that language originally kicked down the door of another country and stole some shit and left their language and their religion and their men or whatever and took all the resources. I didn't like that, right? But then when I went to Thailand and Thai is only spoken in Thailand, as far as I know, I was like, I can't do it. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me to learn another language. I was in Thailand for 3 months, and I swear to you, and this is not something I'm proud of. It's probably the most like ugly American thing I did while I was there, but Thailand was the last 3 months. So I'd been traveling for 9 months and managing other languages for 9 months. The last 3 months, I was like, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even going to try. I did not learn a single language, a single word in Thai. I cannot tell you a Sawadee cat. I don't know what it means. I know it sounds like, I know there's a word that sounds like that. And it's like hello or goodbye or yes. I don't know what it means. I would hear it all the time. People would say it. I think back then I knew what it meant, but I couldn't say it. But I spent 3 months in Thailand and learned no Thai. Now, the original plan was 1 month, that I extended it. No Thai at all. Is so many languages around the world that you need to know to travel. And I was like, I just can't, right? After a certain point, I was like, I hated having to learn the language of the people who destroyed this land in order to experience this land, right? Like I hated that. You want me to learn French to prosper in Africa? I don't want to. I just did not enjoy it. Learning the colonizers' language over and over was a fun thing where I was like, I think it was the first time where I was like, the world is really screwed up. Because like every country I go to, if I speak 4 languages, I'm pretty much covered. Like every country. 4, maybe 5 languages, you're covered because of colonization. Hated it. I also hated learning. I hated the fact that it was a colonized languages, and I hated the fact that like we don't have one universal language we can communicate it. Because I don't know what you're saying. I'm nodding. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what you're saying. Mm-hmm. No idea. Mm-mm. RA says Thai is hard. It's a tonal language. Vietnam? Nothing. I was only in Vietnam. We don't talk about Vietnam, but I was only in Vietnam for a couple of weekends. Not a single word. No, I was in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh for a couple of weekends. I was in Da Nang, I think, for a couple of weeks, or at least a week. Any hoodle. Next on the list. Yeah, you can use Google Translate, but like knowing what the word is and pronouncing it correctly are two different things. Or like even translation apps have come a long way. Like even things like Google Maps on street signs, like I was in my first time I went to Bangkok. This was on my break. I was in Bangkok, and I screenshot my directions to get somewhere, and someone was like, "Why is it?" And I posted it, I think, on the internet. And someone was like, "Why is it telling you to turn left at spaghetti?" And I was like, I cannot. These characters, like very ugly American again, but like these characters are killing me because they're all squiggles. And I gotta like match the squiggles to what's on the thingy. And the squiggles on this road and the squiggles on that road are not that different. Maybe there's 12. It's not like it's one or two squiggles. It's like 12 characters. I should not be disrespectful and call them squiggles. They're characters. They're like 12 characters, and over there they're 13 of the same looking character. But we make do. We make do. All right. Next on the list, unconstrained options. Just a wild amount of whatever you want to do. So Stephanie talked yesterday about how making decisions was one of the hard things for her, because there's so many decisions you have to make. The hard part for me wasn't that there was a number of decisions I had to, yes, it was that there were a number of decisions I had to make, but it was also, and more specifically for me, that I had limitless options, right? Like every day was like, oh, do I wake up and go to that tap dancing lesson today? Or do I go have lunch in a city 4 hours away? What shall I do? Right? Like there's no, and every day was like, what is it? Choose your adventure. Every day was choose your adventure. Because I wasn't working. I didn't have any time constraints. The only constraint was really money. We don't get to that later, right? Like it can be an inexpensive life. I didn't necessarily cut the right corners. We'll talk about that. So it was when you have this unconstrained life, when you're like, when we're in our everyday life, right? Like, you know where you're going to sleep. You know how you're going to spend a majority of your day. You know where you're going to eat breakfast, maybe at home, right? So the decision thing Stephanie was talking about yesterday was that like, where are you going? You need to figure out how to get to the store, how to get a SIM card, how to wash your clothes, all of those things every time. But on top of that, who am I today? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Who am I today? I'm in Switzerland. Am I in Switzerland to ball out and like be a countess from Bulgaria? Or am I don't know, someone who's going to be eating soup because this Chinese place is like $30 for soup and salad? What are we doing? So yeah, just the amount of decisions you can make in one day, and the fact that there's no limit except your imagination on what you can do and who you can be is great. It's awesome. It is awesome at first. And then after a while, it's like, It's too many options. Slow down. Like, slow down, dog. So yeah, it's like decision fatigue, but decision fatigue with like every decision has 1,000 options. Where am I going to wake up tomorrow was frequently one of my things. Like, what country will I be in tomorrow? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to see? Oh, yes. That was one. Okay. Next on my list was important to me as someone who generally identifies as a Black American. I'm not really American, but I lived there for so long. It's just the easiest shorthand that I can give you. Going around the world and never having a feeling of home, a feeling of familiarity, or feeling like an outsider. Like, as a Black person from America, there are not many countries where you will blend in and be accepted like a local would. I don't think I visited any. It was always like, oh, there goes a Black girl. And then even in Africa, it was like, oh, there goes a tourist. Like, she's not the only Black girl. Like, we're full of Black people, but she's not quite one of us. Now, does that mean that I wouldn't want to experience that again? No. Like, I really enjoyed my year. And I'm not saying that as someone who like thinks America is great and like I really want the feeling of being in America, but there's something to be said about being around other people who understand you in the way that only Black Americans can understand Black Americans. And I say this as an immigrant to America. Like, I still know that, like, I know the experience, right? I know that there's no place on the earth and no other person on the earth who will understand me as much as a Black American woman will. It's just true. And so going to places and always being a foreigner every single time. And even in places where you're like, this shouldn't be a problem. If there are tourists there from other places, it's going to be a problem. I was in France. I was in Paris. You know, Paris got Black people. Now they speak in that la 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 language, and I don't quite know what they're saying, but hey, I see you. A lot of the Black people I saw in Paris were immigrants from other places who, when I saw them, it felt like they had an insular community. There was no, if I said hi, I got nothing back. I got a dead face back. I go to Versailles in Paris. Who was I with? One of my homegirls. Who did I go to Versailles with? Oh, I know. We're Versailles. I am leaning on the wall. I'm kind of tired. There's like a little window sill wall thing. I'm outside. So I can lean on it because it's the outside. I'm leaning on the outside, chilling. And a tourist. Asian. And if I had to guess, I would say Chinese. I don't know for sure. I didn't ask for her passport, but my spidey sense says Chinese. Walks up to me. I'm in Paris, which is full of Black people. I'm at Versailles, though, which is a tourist place. Someone walks up to me. I'm here. She comes next to me, shoulder to shoulder. Like, she's leaning on the wall too, shoulder to shoulder. And then her friend starts taking our photo until I get up and walk away. Like, what's happening? I was like, and there's people in the courtyard watching this. I think there was like a white guy, and he starts cracking up laughing because he knows that was crazy. He was like, oh my God, crazy. Like, no word. Not even an attempt at like anything that I could take to be a hello. She literally just came next to me, sat down, smiled, and a person started taking photos. I am in Paris. I is full of Black people. I expect to feel not necessarily, I don't necessarily feel like I'm going to be treated like a local or feel like a local, but I don't expect to be treated like an oddity. But here we are, because there are tourists here. Here we go. Yes. Baby, what are you doing? I was like, I looked at her and just got her, like, no words. I just got her walked away. And my girl was like, oh. Just not. It's very hard to find moments, especially if you're going to tourist places, where people don't treat you like you're an oddity, like you're a sight to see, especially if they're tourist in places where there aren't a large number of Black people. I challenge the idea that a lot of people say, well, like, they're Chinese. I've never seen Black people before. When I was in China, every other billboard was a Black person. Every other billboard, like, especially like the stores, like Nike and this. So like, you may not have seen a Black person in person, but I'm not this mythical creature that you've only heard about and never laid eyes on before, right? And so you don't really need to capture a photo of me, because you can see photos of Black people all around town. So what's happening? What's happening? So yeah, that part was hard. I will say that one of the ways that I got some reprieve from that, there are two different ways I got reprieve from that. One of the hard parts of always being a foreigner was the language part. Like, I don't understand what's going on 90% of the day, which is challenging. I'm gonna tell you, not knowing what's going on around you it's exhausting. Fun sometimes, but also exhausting. So not knowing the language, not knowing, not seeing anyone who looked like me, being treated like an object, it was a lot. Two things I did that helped with those things. One, in the middle of my trip, one of my friends had a ticket to go to a spot on Kina, a friend of a channel, and of Exodus Summit, the actual founder of Exodus. Long story. She gave us the idea for Exodus Summit, and we were both like, Stephanie and I were both like, no, that's not going to happen. And then it happened. But she does a trip to Dubai Blackout. And my friend had a spot there. She was going to go with her best friend. She called me. She was like, I'm supposed to go to Dubai, but it's my anniversary, and I kind of feel like I should be with my husband. And I was like, I kind of feel like maybe if you still like the man, you might want to be with him. I don't know. Like, I've never been married, so you can't be looking at me for advice. But I don't know how y'all do anniversaries. I feel like you would want to be with him. And she was like, yeah, you want the spot? And I was like, bet. I'll go to Dubai. So I went and spent some time in the Middle East after that. But going to Dubai and being with 200 Black folks from America in the middle, this was October. I left in May, and then I stopped in May. So I went May to May, and this was in October. So it was about halfway through. Excellent experience. Excellent experience. Loved it. It was one of the things where I was like, oh my God, the Negroes. Yes, right? Like, I really enjoyed that break in the middle, a full week of being around people who spoke the same slang I did, people who like knew people I knew. You know what I mean? Like that, of like, oh, I saw on Facebook that you also know. So like, okay, like that family kind of feeling that I only get around Black Americans or people I'm actually related to. Yes, I got that there. So it was really nice, really, really nice. What are we talking about? What are we congratulating? Oh, is it coming green? He's headed to Mexico tomorrow to get a residency. Yes. In Mexico, you will be treated a little bit like an oddity. A little bit. But most like people don't care. So I see you guys talking about like the nod and like Black people speaking to you. I I understand that not everybody in the US or everybody from the US speaks outside of the US. I'm very aware of that. What I'm talking about is seeing Black people all day and not a single one of them acknowledging your existence, right? Like there's nowhere I've ever been around Black Americans where nobody's going to. Where like every hi you say or wave is ignored. Like I'm not speaking about this as someone who hasn't like thought about this deeply. I am saying that in some of these places, especially as an immigrant, I know that the immigrant experience for safety reasons, is often very insular, right? And like, if most of the Black people I'm seeing are in their insular community, I'm not mad at them for not speaking to me. I just want Black people who speak to me. Like, I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying, like, where are the Black people who talk? Like, hello, where are you at? And I don't speak French, so what are we gonna do, right? Some of this, like I said, some of this is on me. Going to places where I don't speak the language, I'm not gonna talk to that many people, right? Like choices I made led to this. That doesn't mean I can't dislike it, right? So that's what it is. All right. Keena's trip changed things for me. It was like, okay, it was like a respite in the middle of like these foreign lands. All right. Next on my list, I said earlier, no plans. I was traveling really fast. Like I said, 40 something cities in a year. Y'all can do the math. That was not a lot. And I spent 3 months in one city. Well, 3 months. And then I visited other cities from that city. I spent 3 months with one city as a base. So y'all know for the first 9 months, I was in the streets. I was one city to the next. I probably spent would go to like 2 cities a week. Stephanie talked about the travel days yesterday, so I don't have to talk about that now. Those were exhausting. And you lose a lot of time. Like when you travel like that, you lose a lot of time because the travel days are kind of dead, right? Like they're dead days. There's nothing you can really do on them. Until I was on tour. Yeah, I was on tour. I wanted to see the world and I thought I had 1 year, right? And there are places where like, oh, I can definitely come back here. But I was trying to pack it all in this year because I was going back to work in a year. I wasn't. I just didn't know it. Stephanie worded this really well. Closed cultures versus open cultures. Yeah. So I think that nails one of the things I like about Mexico. It's a very open culture. And because in America, Black people to each other are open, like it's Black to Black is a very open culture. It's what I'm used to and what it's my baseline, not necessarily what I expect when I go abroad, because I don't expect anything, but it's my baseline. So when it's not there, I'm like, I notice it. I think I just, we notice it. That's a great way to phrase that, Stephanie. Thank you. Yes, 2 cities a week sounds exhausting. Baby girl, it was. It was. About like 6 months in, I was like, this doesn't feel like I want it to feel, but I didn't know what it was. And then at 9 months, I was like, either I stay in one country for this whole time, and that was Thailand. It was Chiang Mai, Thailand, or I go home. Like I can't do this anymore. I don't have it. No, I don't. So Marilyn was talking about going to botanical gardens. I don't want to see plants. I want to have plants. It's really about like taking care of something and nurturing something over the long term, watching it grow. That's what it is for me with plants. This one is wild, y'all. I got this when my mom was here. She was here 2 months ago, maybe. And you see all the little pop-offs, little schmuggums? I got this at IKEA. They weren't here. All of these grew in like the last, I would say, month and a half. Why was she here? Where was she coming back from? Why was she at my house? I don't know why she was here, so I can't tell you when it was. But it's a cactus. And all these, once I got it home, started watering it, all of these things started popping up. I love watching things grow. And I love nurturing them and like taking care of them. But I don't want kids because you can't just walk away and leave kids for 2 months and ask your house cleaner to water them every 10 days. It's not flowering. It might in the future, but it's not flowering now, Steph. It's just growing little Viking hats. I'm kind of obsessed with it. And none of these, even this top right here, see how this top is grown up? Even the top wasn't there. None of these were there when I bought it at the store. And after bringing it home, almost immediately started growing. So I'm like, where's it? Is it getting something here it wasn't getting there? Or was it just like in the store for a day? And I just, you know what I mean? I got it at the right time. I don't know. So yeah, like it's going to a botanical garden does not fill the need of like having something living in the space I'm living in. I want something living in the space I'm living in. Not a pet, not a kid, not a man. I want something that needs a little bit and I can watch flourish or watch not flourish and figure it out. It's like a puzzle. Why is it dying? What's going on? You don't want to play that with your kids, right? Why are they? Am I not feeding them enough? Are they not getting? You don't want to do that with your kids. You can do it with. I can do it with the plants. All right. Abba says, I just discovered I like plants since moving to Mexico City. Yes. We're a plant city. Yes. Okay. So I liked watching something grow. I didn't realize how much it was until I was traveling like that. Because Stephanie talked about yesterday how she would buy pillows and mugs. I wasn't doing that. And so every place was a new, and if I did, I'd probably want to take it with me. So I had that it's about the familiarity for me, like the constant. I would want the constant thing. And I wasn't getting the constant thing. I was also traveling at a speed that she was not traveling at. I made mistakes. And so I being able to sit somewhere and say like, oh, that plant is definitely taller than what look, there's new leaf. Oh, this is growing big. I love that. I love it. I've had that one for 3 years now. And someone tried to kill it 2 years ago when they were in charge of the plants. And we got down to, I think, 1 or 0 leaves. So a year and a half ago. But she's coming back healthy. All right. I bought a kalanko, which is a succulent. I hope it lives at least a month. You can keep a succulent alive for a month. I just don't know what a kalanko is. I don't even know if I pronounced that correctly. Simone's been in 8 cities in the past 5 weeks, so I'm exhausted. Yes. Girl, sit down somewhere. Do you never want kids or do you not want kids right now? Well, I'm 44. I'll be 45 next year. And there's never been a moment in my 44 years where I've said, I would really like to have a child. And so I think the answer is I just don't care about kids. Like I think oh my God, y'all. I forgot about, you know how you forget about something? I forgot. I had a dream last night. I was pregnant. I was pregnant. It was a continuation of a second. I don't know if the other dream happened the same night, like it was a 2-parter dream, or if it happened a different night. But it was a continuation of another dream. I was pregnant. My partner turned out to be a horrible person, and I'm so sorry, but that baby ain't make it. I don't like such a random dream for someone who's never been pregnant. That was a very random dream, but yeah, never like. I figure if you can get to 45 and never have an oopsie or a desire, it really wasn't meant to be, right? Like it wasn't. I've never wanted them. I've never accidentally been in the position where I was like, oh no, I'm pregnant and I didn't plan on it. What do we do now? So kids just haven't been a factor. in my life. I want to spend 6 weeks on a yacht. I don't want to. I don't want. I don't want. You know what I mean? Like I don't want. That's what I want. I don't want children. I don't dislike. I don't not want them, but I've always been neutral to negative about them. Neutral when I'm by myself. Negative when I'm with other people's kids. Like y'all do this full time. Y'all do this full time. I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and her kids were in the car, and had to get off the phone real quick because they were going through it, and I was like, it's not. I'm gonna see y'all in a few weeks, but maybe I was gonna stay with them. Maybe I need to stay in a hotel. Do I need to stay in a hotel? Do I need to stay in a hotel? First of all, y'all go to school, so y'all have all the diseases. Every single disease known to man, y'all got, and you're gonna try to give it to me, and I don't want it. I don't. I love kids from a distance. Mm-mm. Like I said, if I got pregnant, I had a lot of things to consider, but I'm 40 back. Since I've been like, my mom had me when she was 30, 31. She had her first child at 30, I think. And every time I thought about children as, I didn't think about having children. I thought about being a mother. Does that make sense to you? I always thought I'd like to be a younger, I don't want to be an old mom at 30, right? She's old. She was old when she had kids. I want to be a younger mom. But it wasn't necessarily about having kids. It was about what life looked like as a mother. Right? Like there was never like, oh, I really want to have a baby. It was like, you 45 driving me to high school, girl? Calm down. What? Why are you hot flashing on me? Like I ain't do no, I'm going through my hormones as a teenager and you're going through your hormones for menopause. Please. This is too much. I don't like this. No, thank you. And so I always thought about being like a young mom. We are totally off track and I love it. And then when I got to like 35, I was like, so kids, babies, you got to wake up in the middle of the night to feed them? I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night for anything. I don't even want to get out of bed to eat if I'm hungry. So getting up to feed an infant? Nah. I think by like 35, I froze my eggs at 37, just in 38, just in case. One of the perks of the job, working at the last company really let me know that every perk of a job is just designed for them to get more out of you. One of the perks of a job was you could freeze your eggs. They paid for you to freeze your eggs. I paid nothing. But they did that so that women would work longer and not get pregnant. Right? They did that to delay pregnancy for their female employees. Anywho, I froze my eggs. And every once in a while when the storage got actually for storage, it's not that expensive. Every once in a while I see a bill, I'm like, can we just scramble them now? Toss them? What are we doing? We don't need them. Anyhow, yeah, waking up in the middle of the night to do that, like the idea after like 35, the idea of like breastfeeding and like taking care of a person all the time, I was like, I don't think so. But I froze my eggs just because the doctor was like, why do you want to do this? And I was like, because the company will pay for it. And he was like, okay, get on the table. He was like, all right, that sounds like a good idea. You're just doing it because they'll pay for it? All right. I did it like a month before I left the company. Oh, I'm going to get all the perks. I'm going to get all the perks before I leave. I suggest you get all the perks too. I don't want it. Anyhow, I don't know how we're talking about that. But yes, plants. I prefer plants in my home to children. Okay, the next on my list, this is number 4. We've gotten halfway through the list. Next on my list is the expense. The expense is, I want to talk about this accurately. Because I was traveling for a year, and because I didn't have a job lined up, and because I was moving from fear, because I had no idea what my life looked like at the end of this year. And I didn't know a life like this existed. I couldn't even have imagined a life like this. The life I'm living now was not a part of my imagination. It was not something I had seen. It was not something I had experienced. It's not something I had seen on someone else. I did not know this could happen. And that's one of the reasons I get on here every Sunday. It's because I want you to know that this can happen for you, right? I want this to be part of your imagination. I want you to know that you can build a life where you live in the country you want and you do the things you want and you talk to the people you want and only the people you want to talk to for the rest of your life. I didn't know that. And so I was like, I have to go. I can't use up all my savings. I got to blah, 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 blah. Now, that double, if you're here at the beginning, you know that double salary for 2 months, that came in handy. That came in handy. Loved it. So that was the money I was spending. But I also had to save because like I didn't have a job and I was going to come back and Bay Area is not a cheap place to live without a job and blah, 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 blah. And so there were times where I was very frugal about things in a way that negatively impacted my experience. So the thing I hate is the expense of it all. But maybe life costs. So like there's no grand solution to things costing things besides having more money or wanting less. Those are the two I can think of right now, right? Like spending less or earning more are like the general answer to things cost. And so because things cost, there were ways that I feel like I cheated myself out of experiences I would have liked to have in order to spend less money. Like sometimes my transportation option wasn't the most ideal, right? Like a 9-hour bus ride versus like a flight or something else, right? Just because I wanted to spend less money. There were ways I should have spent less money that we'll talk about next. But yeah, so going to places that were super expensive, like Switzerland, and being like, oh, I'll be here for 3 days and then I'm leaving this country. I don't care what y'all got going on. I do not care. Is it pretty? Yes. But I don't have a job. I don't know how long I'm going to be unemployed. Forever. And it costs too much to be here. But there, like I said, there were ways I cheated myself. Like I went to the Seychelles during that year. Beautiful experience. When I was looking at hotels, I was like, oh, this is a points experience. I'm not paying cash for this. This is a points experience. I booked it with points. I got there, took the taxi from the airport, which was close enough to like downtown, but it wasn't a big difference in price, I think, if I remember correctly. Could be wrong. Took the taxi to the thingy, and I want to say it was like $80 or $90. And I was like, why? Oh, I see why people come to Seychelles on the honeymoon, right? I guess we need to split these costs. It needs to be 2 of us paying for this, or one person that's not me paying for this. Okay, so I'm at the resort. People say, oh, there's this market in downtown, there's this, there's that, boop, boop, bop, boop, 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 going on in town. The taxi to get into town was like somewhere between $50 and $70 from where I was. I never went in town again. Actually, my mom used to work with, used to live, I don't think she lives there anymore, but she used to live there. And she picked me up one day and drove me around. So I saw the town. And I think we did some things, right? She was, you live in the Seychelles? Girl, let's do this. Yes, I don't know you. Yes, you're a stranger. Show me around. She's like, if that yacht is owned by the prince of blah, blah, blah. Okay, girl, tell me everything. But me, myself, getting in a car to pay $70 to go into the center of town when the center of town isn't but like 3 miles away, maybe five at the most, $50 to $70. I haven't. I was like, let me just lay up on this resort with this cat that keeps coming to visit and keeps trying to come in my room. And I'm outside laying on the little chair thing they got on the deck, and the cat comes and lays right beside me. I have a cat now, right? For the rest of the trip, I have me and my cat. We just gonna chill right here. We are not going to pay $50 to $70 to go to town. What did I miss? I don't know. And that's just one example, right? Like Seychelles in town, I did it once. I probably didn't need to do it that many times. But there are other ways where I cheated myself out of experiences I probably would have enjoyed because how much it cost? Like when I was in Dubai, I never went to the top of Burj Khalifa. I've been to Dubai twice. I've been to Dubai twice, and I've never been to the top of Burj Khalifa. Because it costs how much money? How much? Say what now? And I still got to travel for a whole other like 8 months after this? You hear my voice did that real quick. My voice did the like, what? What are we talking about? No. I can see it from the floor. I don't need to. I was like, like, yes, these are the kind of things that make sense to do. And that's in that way, it's important to recognize that going on vacation for a week is different than bopping around for years. A year is what I did. Years are what other people do, right? It's in a week, I can blow whatever money I want, right? No job in sight, no way to make money. Burj Khalifa gonna have to come to me, dog. Like I was like, I know. First of all, Dubai ain't that pretty to look down on. I know it, you know it. It's a city in the desert. It's Vegas in the desert. But if I go back, I'll probably do it. But there's many ways in which like my experience was harder, right? Places where I probably could have paid for someone to like a porter to move my bags like we did in Morocco, my mom this year. I moved them myself because I was like, I ain't got cash just to be giving people to do stuff I can do myself. Or like, but I probably should have because it would have made the experience better. I really want people, I don't have a lot of rules. I have a lot of rules in this space. I'm not going to front. I have a lot of rules in this space. And I really want you guys to respect those rules. And one of them is don't go up in here doing this. Like, what is this? Out in them streets next week. I don't have her itinerary. For those of you that don't know, this is my mama. She told me she's coming here next week. Told me, didn't ask. Told me, I am 44. Told me, I'm going to be there on this date. I'm going to stay with you before I leave to get on her flight. Where is she going? Who is she going with? Who is she go? Who are these people? What are the places in between? Places in between. What places in between, y'all? I don't have an itinerary. I don't have hotels. I don't have a phone number. I don't have nothing. I have zero. But she's in here talking about out in them streets. Out in whose streets, baby? What are you? JG, I saw your comment. I'm going to ignore it because you so close. You so close. Every time you do this, I will fight you. I will lose, but I will fight you. All right now. Okay. So expense I was cheap when I didn't need to be cheap. I would do things differently now. I would just spend the money for the experience, right? Like, yes, maybe I can come back. Yes, I can come back with more money, more plans, whatever. But there were times where I could, even if it wasn't like I need to go to the top of Burj Khalifa, if it's avoiding this 9-hour bus ride by taking a more expensive train or more expensive flight that would get me in longer and wouldn't have me in was I in Prague? A bus station in Prague after midnight with everything closed and taxi drivers who are physically fighting each other. No, I had no idea that's how it was going to end. Especially because the bus showed up like 3 hours late. We arrived like I don't know what happened because I don't speak the language. I don't know why our bus ride was taking hours longer than it was supposed to. But yeah, like that kind of thing. Like there are ways I could have made the experience more pleasurable for me. Like Stephanie said, we're in our pleasure era. I could have made it more pleasurable, which probably would have made the whole experience better. All right. Next on the list, loneliness. Now, one of the ways I could have cut costs and cut down on loneliness, because I am an introvert. I don't need other people. I don't like other people. There are, according to this right now, 277 people watching this. If I was in a room of 277 people, I would be like melting into the corner right now. I would be like, oh my God, so much. My friends always talk about me because I'll be like, oh my goodness, I've been having so much fun. And I turn around and they don't see me. And I'm like, yeah, I left. I left. I had fun. I said all the things. My Uber was here. But then I would be like, you already called your car, didn't you? Yes, I did. You see me looking at my phone, you know what's that? It's too much. Anyhow, so when I traveled, I was very much like Airbnbs, place to myself, or hotels. But that doesn't give you a lot of opportunities for human interaction. And so there were times when I was lonely because, like I said, I wasn't speaking the language. Most places, I forgot to tell you something. I wasn't speaking the language in a lot of places. There weren't a lot of people. I wasn't running into a lot of other tourists. And then if I didn't know anybody in the area, I was just by myself. If I'd stayed in hostels, or if I'd stayed in houses with like a room in a house, I would have gotten to know more people. And that's something I could have done to cut expenses. And that would have been I probably, without having done it, I've only done a room in an I've never done a hostel. I've done a room in an Airbnb once. And I didn't realize that. I thought it was a place to itself. The woman had 2 listings and I got confused and booked the wrong one. Anyhoodle. And then her husband showed up because he lived there. Why am I sharing a home with a man that I don't? Ew. I had my own bathroom. But still, I was like, I don't like, no. Anyhow, if I had done that, I could have cut costs and experienced more people. Most people have really great hosts who talk them through stuff, go places with them, do whatever, like they're really hosty. One thing I did to counteract the loneliness is I took group tours, like free walking tours, a tour, like, and if I went to a museum, I'd try to get onto a tour with a curator or whatever, because the people in those groups are usually other people who don't have other people to hang out with, right? Like maybe they're here with their family, or it's like a couple, like in Mexico City once, I did that. I did what kind of tour did I do? A food tour. And we all went out that night to Lucha Libre. And some of them, we stayed in contact. Not me. I stayed in contact for a very short time, and the combo went on without me. Because it's a lot of people in. But like that kind of thing. I also met some of my friends. My friends would be like, "Oh, are you going so-and-so? I'd love to meet you there." I'd be like, "Sure, I can go there." I didn't have any plans. Unconstrained options, baby. Sure, I'll meet you there. So that helped. The other thing I meant to mention earlier when we talked about feeling like an outsider, this didn't really, it helped with the language loneliness. My friend, Julia Coney, who is the wine expert for American Airlines and used to be a beauty blogger, which is how I knew her. And then we ended up going to yoga. We met and then ended up going online and went to yoga once in DC, and then we were friends ever since. And she is the one who introduced me to Up in the Air Life because she was going on a trip with them to China. And I was like, if Julia says they're a legit company, because you know, travel companies are kind of like, I don't really know. I was like, Julia's not going to be with no BS, right? So, Julia, I went with Julia to China and Claire, and that's how I became friends with Claire. Boop, 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 boop. Claire of Up in the Air Life, the Black Travel Company. Um, but I've gone on multiple experiences with since then. And I love Claire and Julia. Any hoodle. One of the things Julia told me, because she travels so much and she's used to this, was when you're feeling like lonely, like you miss being around familiar things, she was like, go to the hotel, go to an American branded hotel, like a Marriott, a Hyatt, Hilton, something, and go have a meal at the bar. Just go sit at the bar, have a glass of wine or a meal. You'll hear English. You'll see people who look familiar in that, like, they also look like a foreigner here, possibly a foreigner from the same place I'm from, America. And she's like, that'll help. And it does, right? Like hearing English when I was in some of them countries and I was like, I don't know what you're, I don't know, all day long, y'all talking this la 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 language. I don't respect French as a language. And I know there's no besides the fact that like colonizers, I don't respect them the same way I don't respect English as a language. It's not like I'm like, oh, English is like this really great language. And no, it's all nonsense. English is nonsense. French is less nonsensey, but like, no. Any hoodle. After being there for a while, like going into like a hotel and being like, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to hear English. Even if I don't speak to anyone else, for a couple of hours, I've been in a place that like where my body feels familiar. It very much feels familiar. So that was enough. And then I can be gone for a little while, right? But hostels would have been a good place. Stephanie will tell you all the time about how she met some people in hostels that she went to adventure with, and I think she still stays in contact with. Those are all things that helped eliminate that loneliness. A group tour, a walking tour, for me, that's the one. Put me on a walking tour. I can be social for an hour or two and make friends. Yes. And that might be enough, right? Or like I said, sometimes our friends would be like, hey, what are you doing in March? And I'd be like, I'm probably going to be here. And then it's okay, I'll meet you. Done. Hugged a friend. And then making friends along the way, which we're going to talk about now, because number 7 on the list is leaving friends behind. Because there are a lot of places where there will be communities where you can make friends easily. Chiang Mai, if you are Black in Chiang Mai, just like physically standing in Chiang Mai, you're going to be in the Facebook group in 13 seconds. Someone's going to be like, hey, you, are you in? By the time I got to Chiang Mai, I think I knew online one person who I followed on Instagram who I'd never met. She's one of those people who never shows her face on the internet. So I had never seen her face. Like back of the hat, right? Like side of the head, and but like never. And so, but I told her I was going to Chiang Mai. And the first day she was like, oh, me and the girls are over here, come through. And I came through and I had community in Chiang Mai ever since. Like I still have, I was in Merida last week. It tried to kill me. I almost died. The heat. I got heat rash. I always get heat rash. Ugh. I don't like the heat. My body doesn't like it. And mosquitoes. Anyhow, then people love it. So I'm in Merida, and I meet someone who used to live in Chiang Mai, but not the same time I did. But we're talking about someone else who we all know from Chiang. And I was like, it's the people who live this life. There's a lot of us, but there's also not a lot of us, if that makes sense. Like, you hit a couple of the big cities, and your friend network is going to expand exponentially, right? People will know, oh, yeah, I met her in so and so. Someone will vouch for you. Or, like, if you're going to another city, one of your friends is going to be like, oh, Josie lives there. Let me connect y'all. I have friends everywhere. I cannot name a place on the planet where I cannot find somebody right now. I might forget that they're there. I'm good for that. I'll forget that they're there, but they're there. Maybe you should remind me if I post about where I am. Like, girl, what are you doing here? You know I'm here, right? Oh, I forgot. But making these friendships, hanging out with really awesome people, and then leaving them behind, right? Or them leaving you behind. Having those relationships where you that it's for a short time period, but like you're here for a good time, not a long time. Like we're in it together. Those are really good relationships. And they're usually, for me, very low maintenance relationships. And I love a low maintenance relationship, right? Like, we don't have to talk for years, but when we talk, you're not mad at me that I haven't called you for your last 6 birthdays, because you have a bunch of friends that are just like me. We're connected by this like global moving thing, right? There's this big web of us moving around. I can't say hi for everybody's birthday. I love you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to all of you who are watching. I just don't have it, right? And most people in this world understand that. No, I didn't get you a gift for your last birthday, but I'm in town. You want to go out for a drink, right? Like that. The first part of it doesn't even matter. It's the second part is the only part that matters. I'm here. You're here. Let's reconnect. And you pick up like things never stopped, right? Loved that. Absolutely. I love those relationships. I hate leaving them behind, but I know that like when I leave them behind, it is a way that my web expands, right? I love meeting new people. As much as I am an introvert, I love meeting new people for limited periods of time. But no, I love meeting new people. And so having that, moment of being with people in different cities. Oh, my friend so-and-so is here. Oh, so-and-so is there. You know what I mean? Like that is just, there's some magic in that for me. I don't like leaving them behind. Like I said, that's sad, but it really pays off in the long run. Once you start this life, you'll have friends everywhere. You'll have friends everywhere. I mean, y'all are my friends, and y'all all over the world. I think I saw Anita say she's going to be in Mexico City next week, but Anita hasn't said that to my face, and so perhaps Anita and I aren't friends. Awkward. How awkward to see her here telling my mama she going to be in Mexico City, but she ain't told me. I almost wasn't going to comment on it, but y'all know how I am. Anita's out here talking about where she going to be in my city. Mine. But she not. She told my mom. Okay. That was cute. It was real cute, Anita. Oh no, I'm not an introvert. I am an introvert. I am. I literally came back from Merida on Wednesday. I have not spoken to another person since Wednesday. I'm not an introvert. I have not left my apartment. The only time I've spoken to anyone was when the grocery delivery person came. And she said, "What is the code?" And I gave her the code. 767, baby. That's the entire conversation I had. I am an introvert. Mm. I'm sorry. When I tell you, the senior citizens in my life stay stressing me out. What business you got with my mama? What business do you have with my mama? What? 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 Y'all play too much. Y'all play entirely too much. Mm-mm. Ooh, Miss Baby Girl came to clean out her storage unit in the Bay Area, and it's done. Congratulations. Congratulations. Lenora, hey, come hang with us. Speaking of friends around the world, just like you're my friends because of Exodus Summit and the community. So, you know what I'm going to say now? If you're not already part of the Exodus Summit community, www.exodussummit.com/community. It is in the description. I'm going to write it down too. Ugh. That is not how you spell that word. A more organized person? Ugh, no. A more organized person would have these links already set up and ready to cut and paste. I am not she. I'm a lot of things. I am not she. Okay, so join us. So Lenora, if you haven't already joined our group, I am one of the co-hosts of the Exodus Summit community, which is a community for Black women who want to move abroad and take career breaks, which if you're here, you might want to do. But also, y'all, have you heard that the most fun thing on the internet is coming up soon? And that is Exodus Summit. It's Summit season, y'all. It's Summit season. And I love Summit season so much. Miss Baby Girl can't wait to get in the travel sheets. The travel sheets. Y'all were talking about travel. Did y'all talk about travel sheets yesterday or only travel cutlery? I know some of y'all have travel sheets. I watched Gone Girl Friday. I rewatched it. I'd watched it before. I think I missed the fact that like she brought all new sheets. That woman was conniving. Rosamund Pike in a bob? I don't want to see it in real life. I don't want to see it in real life because she's just, woo. Anywho, we're talking about Exodus Summit. It's Summit season. Miss Baby Girl can't wait to get in the travel streets, travel sheets, travel cutlery, Rosamund Pike, Gone Girl, Bob. That's how we did that. Okay, so Aria has travel sheets. I knew some of y'all did. Oh. This is why I don't want her linking up with my mama. Because it's all fun and games until I got to come for you. I would take sheets to the Congo. Okay, so 2 things coming up. First, let me tell y'all, Exodus Summit. I'm so excited. We have Dr. Joy from Therapy for Black Girls is coming to talk to us. Stephanie, have we announced what she's talking about? I think we have. Can I announce what she's talking about? I don't know. We also have, I almost said the wrong name. I almost said Octavia Butler, but no, we don't have Octavia Butler coming. That would be something else. We have Octavia Rahim coming to do a rest practice with us. I think I might have talked about this in the announcement, but we did a call with Octavia Rahim before this, and before we got her to sign on. And literally speaking to her is the most peaceful moment I've had all year. I literally was like, I would like to put this woman in my pocket. Like I want you to, I don't like people like that, but could you move in? Like just her energy is such a beautiful thing. I am so excited about those of you that will get to come to the summit and will get to experience this. It's just like, woo! She embodies peace. Okay. We have 172 all access early bird tickets available. And if I know what I'm talking about, and I don't always, not about the summit, y'all. I know about a lot of stuff. I make it my business to know a lot of stuff, but about the summit, I know about like 50-50. That's why I have a partner. If you get the all access pass, you get to attend 2 virtual rest sessions with Octavia Rahim, and you get to attend a bonus keynote speaker session with Dr. Joy Harden Bradford, who's going to talk to us about sisterhood and how sisterhood is the key to everything. Because what are we talking about now? Community. Boom, boom, boom. I'm very, very excited to hear from her. You're going to love it. That session is not available to people who buy the weekend pass. It is only available to people who buy the all access pass. We also have, I'm not supposed to say this, so Stephanie, plug your ears. Pretend. Oh, no, 172 available. We have 172. I said 372. It's 172 all access. Early bird tickets available. You also get a book from one of our speakers. Yes. I was trying to do math in my head. Y'all know I can't do that. What do I look like doing math? Yes. Dr. Joy from Therapy for Black Girls is coming to talk to us, to people who have the all access pass. And the reason I'm talking to you about the early bird all access pass is the early bird all access pass is a lower price than the regular all access pass. So why not get it now instead of getting it later? Right? Right. Like I said, there's also a second session from Octavia Rahim. Okay, now I'm on to the thing that Stephanie can't hear me say. So make sure she's not listening to me. We also have right now 2 speakers that I am desperately trying to lock down that are going to blow your mind. That you're going to be like, wait, what? I know y'all are about to be like, them Exodus Summit girls did that? Yes. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I shouldn't say all this right now because they are not locked down. But when you see them, when you see who we have, you're about to be like, oh, I ain't know. I think that's what it's going to be. Oh, I ain't know. I just didn't, I know y'all had that. But we do. Fingers crossed nothing falls through and I don't have to cuss anybody out. Not them, of course. Our speakers are lovely, lovely people. But we're in process. And I'm like, but these speakers are only going to be available to all access ticket holders. Is one of them in the chat? If they are, I don't know. You would know. You would have told me already if they were in the chat. But we do have one speaker in the chat, Black Sit Global, Krishan, who's going to talk to us. Stephanie announced what you were talking about yesterday, but I don't know that we told you what you're talking about. I don't know that it's the same thing. I don't know. We'll talk. But we'd love if Krishan came and talked to us about the intentionality that goes into making your move abroad and choosing your location in order to get this location freedom. But these speakers, boom. Okay, so one of the reasons, just to be very clear, we like to be as transparent as possible. One of the reasons that some of these speakers are only available to all access pass holders is because they cost money, a lot of money. And in order to pay them, we need money. Not like, but like you're going to be excited. You're not going to be like, oh, right? you're going to feel good about it and what your money is going to, even if we didn't have these speakers, right? We didn't have these speakers last year and the ticket price wasn't much different. No, it's not much higher than it was, a little tiny smidge a bit higher than it was last year. But that's the reason the tickets are only available to those spots are only available to all access pass holders. It's because we really want to encourage you to see them, because we got to pay them. We got to pay them. So every year, all access pass holders who pay more for their ticket get a little bit more than the weekend pass holders who pay less for their ticket. And this year, part of the getting more is seeing the speakers that we have to pay a lot of money. Magic, right? It's not like you're paying more and you don't see what you're getting. You're going to see what you're getting. You will know, which is why I'm telling y'all, get your all access pass. Get your early bird all access pass now before the price goes up. 172 left. Don't mess around. I dropped the link. Do I need to drop it again? It's exodussummit.com. Oh, T, it's your first summit? Yay! No, I cannot pay. Steph, can you drop the link? I've tried to type it 3 times. I've typed it wrong every time. Oh, y'all saw a famous person's name? Who was it? Okay, don't tell me who it was. Someone shoot me an email and say who it was, but don't say it in the comments. There we go. Danielle. Okay, let me tell y'all. Danielle says it's worth it, y'all. But let me tell y'all, Danielle says it's worth it. And she attended last year, attended a talk of one of our speakers, and then had another session with one of the speakers, and doubled her salary. Her ticket, I don't know if she had a weekend pass or an all access pass last year, but say her ticket was $249, which is what the weekend pass is, right? All access pass is right now, I think. I don't really know these things. Yes, $249. Say it's $249. Her salary went up $100,000. Like, worth it. It's worth it. Worth it. We bring people to the summit with the goal that it's going to elevate you to the next level in your life. Elevation is what we care about. And so we really want to make sure that the speakers we're bringing are going to help you get to where you want to be. Not where we want you to be, where you want to be. We have high hopes for you. But if what you want is a remote job so that you can move in with your boyfriend in North Dakota, I'm going to have some questions, but I'm not going to ask them, right? That's your life. That's your business. I'm not going to ask those questions. Do what you do, right? Now, if what you want is to double your salary, like Danielle did, the speaker who she got the help from last year is coming back this year. Team Zekas. Doubled salary. There are people who requested if I remember correctly, there's at least one woman who requested a raise during the summit after team session and got it approved, I think, the next week. I don't know how much it was, but she got a raise the next week. If that's not worth $249 to you, I don't interest you. Okay, Lauren says, I have a regular weekend pass, but I'm realizing I should upgrade to all access. Yeah, you should. I'm trying to be subtle about this, but yes, you should. To do that, I believe, I don't know. Stephanie's going to tell us in the comments how to do that. I think you email Exodus and tell us you want to upgrade, and we'll shoot you the upgrade link. I think. I don't really know. Not my business. I think that's how you do it, though. Yes, you should. Also, the All Access Pass members will have replays of the summit. So if you are, let's talk about replays for a second. Some people's idea of replays is the replay is only if I can't be there to watch it live. Okay. Check for an email with the, you don't have to email us. Check for an email with the subject line, how to upgrade. My business partner is on it. All the emails you got, all of the technical you put, if there's a place to put in your credit card number, Stephanie Perry was on the scene. Because I would be like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm so sorry. Okay, so, wait, that's not what I wanted to do. Yes. Lawana's coming to her first summit. Ew, all right. ATL to Mexico. We love it. Sarah's she's already planning her acceleration and departure. Not from the company, from the job, from the country. Yes. Lenora, okay, so you asked about the summit video and sell a DVD. No, we do not do any physical products, but that's the reason the replays are available. You have the replay. If you have the weekend pass, you have the replay for at least a year. Early bird all access is $249. Come on. Come on, Deborah. You know you want it. Ooh. Teen's voice was so soothing last year. Looking forward to hearing her again. We're looking forward to her being there. Libria Jones is going to talk about remote work. She's the remote work queen. She's going to give it to y'all. She's going to help y'all get a remote job if you want a remote job, and Teen's going to help you get more money if you want more money. They're going to give you the info you need. Well, talking. Stephanie's talking about house sitting. I'm talking about something. Probably taking a career break and like giving yourself permission to take a career break. You will get a Go Shan says there's a book. If you're talking about what I'm talking about, you will get a book from one of our speakers. You'll be able to choose a book from one of our speakers. All the books aren't available yet, so you can choose a book and we will fix it. We'll show you more options later in case you want to change it, or you can choose a book and stick to it. You will have right now the plan, which can change because of logistics. What we'd like to do is that you have through the end of a summit and maybe like a week after a summit to choose a book. So you've gone to the summit, you've heard the speakers, and you can figure out whose book you want, right? You don't have to choose ahead of time, but you can choose now from the options available and then change later if you want to. All right. So we're talking about replays. The thing with replays are that some people think replays are just if I can't make it right then. But the reason we do replays, and we do replays for a year, is so that you can get the information and you can watch it again, and you can watch it again, and you can rewind, and you can watch it again, and you can watch it again. With the Weekend Pass, you have replays for a month. With the Early Bird All Access Pass, you have replays for a year. Now, here's something I do want to talk about. As we're marketing Exodus Summit 2023, we're hearing people talk about Exodus Summit 2022. And what they're saying is, I can't figure out how to access the replays. I didn't get this bonus that I meant to get. Y'all need to take action. No. Don't wait until we're talking about the next summit the year after to be like, oh, I never watched that stuff. Let me watch it. I'm judging you. You spent this money on it. If you have access to it, I know what it's like to buy a course or a program or something and not experience it. but do it. Watch it. Like, this is about getting you, like last year was about getting you paid. You missed out on a year of getting paid, right? Or a year of finding your thing to get paid with, or getting more money, or getting a remote job because you just didn't. Like, I'm not going to judge you by name, but in my head, I'm like, just watch the video. Like, watch them. Don't wait. Don't wait. If there's a bonus, don't wait 8, 9 months to go get the bonus. Get it up front, right? Okay. And the reason a DVD, I would never do a DVD for this, even though it's we don't do physical things, but also the reason I would never do a DVD is because y'all would put it in a corner and either lose it or never watch it. There has to be a limit on how long you can have a thing in order to get you to watch it. And I know this because y'all be like, oh, I've had this for 11 months. I never watched it. How do I get access to it now? Can you tell me? We've gotten more emails in the past 2 weeks asking about access to the 2022 summit from people who had the access since last year that we've gotten probably all year long. Y'all waited till right now to watch it, which, I mean, yay, watch it. But a DVD so y'all can put it in your cellar and never look at it again? Oh, yes, Aurora. Aurora's a great person to segue to the next topic. Aurora started brand new with Exodus Summit meetup in Marrakesh. She had never experienced anything from Exodus Summit before she bought her ticket to Marrakesh. Looking forward to her first summit. She got the replays and they're good, but I think live action may be better for her. Yes. Yes, because you get to ask questions and do things and talk to friends. Love it. Now, Aurora was watching us on YouTube last year when we announced the sale of our tickets to Marrakesh. And she purchased a ticket to Marrakesh without knowing anything about us. A ticket to go to the meetup. We are announcing our tickets to Cape Town because our next trip is to Cape Town. We are announcing our tickets very soon. But I don't think we're going to do it on YouTube this time. Steph and I haven't talked about that part. But last year, our tickets sold out in 24 hours. We're doing things differently than last year. Last year, our tickets sold out in, I think 90% of the tickets sold out in the first 2 hours. And then the rest of the tickets were gone in the next 24 hours. And yay. Woo! Exciting. Yay. But part of the issue is that people bought tickets to the summit without regard to whether they could actually go. I'm sorry, to the meetup without regard to whether they could actually go to Marrakesh. This year we're going to Cape Town. We're going in February, which is their high season. So we're going to be, tickets are not going to be inexpensive to get to Cape Town because everybody wants to be in Cape Town the time of the year. It's their summer. Them hotels are like, oh no, you're not paying low prices. It's peak season, baby. And so, but it's also a much nicer time of the year to be there, which is why we're doing it. So we want to make sure that people buy their ticket with the intention that they've looked at flight prices. You guys already know the dates. Today, look at flight prices to Cape Town for the dates you would like to be there. We are going to be in Cape Town from February 16th to 20th as a group. You can be anywhere in the region you want to be for as long as you want. So figure out how long you want to be there, what dates you want to be there. Stephanie mentioned there is a jazz festival that should be the next weekend. I will be in the crowd with a glass in my hand, one hand and my other hand in the air, swaying to jazz. Maybe getting close to somebody's son. Who knows? Who knows? It's going to be an experience, right? Look at flight prices. Do not buy a ticket blind. Look at hotel prices. Look at Airbnb prices. These tickets are going to be non-refundable. Non-refundable. They will be transferable, but to another woman within the Exodus Summit sphere. But they are non-refundable. because we don't want people buying tickets and then not able to go. We didn't make any money last year on Marrakesh, which is fine. We had a good time. But every refund, if you guys don't know this, every time you buy something online and then I'm talking about like from entrepreneurs. I don't care about these big businesses, do what you do. But from entrepreneurs, every time you buy something and then get a refund, it costs that person money. We don't get like, it's not their processing fees we don't get back, whatever, etc. So that's okay. But we don't want what happened last time, which is the tickets sold out so fast. So everyone rushes to buy a ticket and then they decide they can't go, or they never looked at prices, didn't realize it'd be so expensive. And so they changed their mind and refund us. And we got to refund them. And we lose money every time. So I just want you to think about it. Our goal is not to have the tickets sell out when we announce them. Stephanie, are we saying when we're announcing them? Y'all buying tickets? Is that what's going on? Let me see. Ooh. It was 172 available. Ooh. And now it's 164. All access tickets available. Okay, we don't know when we are making that announcement. Soon, as in when you get an email from us, make sure you know which card you're putting the ticket on. And the ticket price is also in I don't know land. I might have this up somewhere. I'm not going to. The tickets are not available for sale yet. We will tell you when they're available for sale. The tickets are $697 and $797. There's a Paratrooper Girl versus a Jazz Fest in Cape Town the weekend after, which is also why things aren't cheap. And just to give you a little bit more information and some transparency, the reason that we're announcing the summit and Cape Town so close to each other, we wouldn't normally do this, but because hotels in Cape Town are like, is you coming or not? Like, we want you guys to be able to get in at a good price. We don't want to delay this for a month after we put tickets on sale for Summit. Like, we could have done that, but we want you guys to get the best booking opportunities, best tickets. And so we're announcing them pretty close to each other. $697 now, and then $797 starting September 1st. All right. Okay, y'all buying y'all all access tickets. The tickets do not cover anything, no accommodations or airline flights. They cover the meetup with us, which y'all know is if you've been there before, the people who've been to Cancun and Marrakesh will tell you it's worth it. The meetup, and then we have an all-day event, one all-day event and one meetup. And like, yes, the numbers might seem high for that, but we will tell you, we do not make a profit. These things are just what they are. There's a hotel. We are staying, we know which hotel we think. So Netmore says, is there a preferred hotel in South Africa or area suggestions? V&A Waterfront. V&A Waterfront is our suggested area to stay, but anywhere works. Whatever you can find that you like and is in your budget and makes you feel good. You know, if you're in your luxury era, do that. We have rooms at a hotel, which I will tell you guys about. I don't talk about where we're staying on the internet, like open internet. So I'll tell you guys in the Facebook group, which is probably where we're going to announce tickets for sale. If you're not already in there, do that. We have tickets, we have rooms, but I made sure they were cancelable in case we decided not to stay at that hotel. I think I can tell you when we announce more in a private space. I can tell you where we plan on staying and where the meetup might be, but that's not guaranteed right now. And so I don't want you to book a place into where we're going to be thinking that we're going to be there, because that might change. But if you're okay with it changing, we can tell you later on, not on the YouTubes. All right. We will tell you more about it in Blair Waldorf. We'll tell you more about it in the announcement. Because I'm not even finished with my video yet. We're talking. I have one more thing to talk about. But in my video, I was talking about how when you make this network of people, these are people that will look out for you in countries you can't imagine, because we are all over the world. And so both the summit and the meetup allow you the opportunity to bond with women who are all in this space of wanting to explore the world. And these are the women you're going to call when you are in Georgia, the country, not the state, and you don't know nobody, but you feel like she was there earlier. Does she have any tips? And turns out she's back for the weekend and she's hanging out with her whole posse that she used to hang out with while she's here, and you should come through. And now you have 7 new friends in Georgia. These are these women, right? And that's the unspoken value of the summit and of the meetup. It's the community, right? Like, yes, I know y'all like to hang out with us. I'm fun, but y'all ain't come for me, right? Y'all does not. Y'all come for each other. And I love that. I love to see it. And I love that you guys get that. Yes, Lena Price, there's only 1 day of events. Last year, we did 2 days of events, and the woman told us it was too much. So you do your own thing. That could be nothing. For a lot of our women, it's going to be nothing. And for a lot of them, it's going to be Adventure City, right? Like, how do I go on a safari for a day? Can I fly to Durban for the day and come back? Yes, you can, right? Like that's what's going to happen with a lot of women. So yeah, the women who travel with us really enjoy the I do what I want when I want kind of thing. So 1 day of events and 1 meetup. That's how we did it in Cancun. In Marrakesh, we did 1 meetup and 2 days of events. And the women, they ain't like that. They said, no, stop it. We don't want that much stuff. So that's what we're doing. But excited about this. Okay. Have we covered all the Exodus Summit stuff? You should have your credit card available by your computer. Oh, by your computer. Okay, I was like, did I have enough of that number? I didn't realize I was going to show the back where the number is. But I covered enough of the digits. Don't rewind that and try to look at it. I'll have to cut that part out. All right. Yeah, many of us created our own excursions. And I think this is a great point. Aurora wasn't part of the Exodus Summit family until she went to Marrakesh. We have a Facebook group that we set up ahead of time for our events, and she created excursions with other people. All right, it's a very loving community event. So even if you don't know anybody, you will have a great time. This is why you can't just this is why some people. All right. Last on my list of things that I did not like about bopping around and being a nomad is lots of pivoting. Lots of oh, this isn't what I expected. I have to do something else. Oh, this place I booked to stay, ain't it? I got to go. Or this country I chose to go to, no thank you. Oh, these people keep touching me, I must leave. A woman she, you know when you can tell someone's cursing you out in whatever their language is because of the vibes? She cursed me out in Chinese because I wouldn't let her touch my braids. She was behind me. We were walking up a set of stairs, and she started combing her hand through them, but kind of also yanking them. And because I told her to stop, she started aggressively. Lots of pivoting. Lots of like, I can't get arrested in Hong Kong, so don't push this woman down the stairs. That's not going to end up well for you. Pushing a Chinese woman down the stairs in Hong Kong is not. It's not the move, y'all. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. On your way to see the big Buddha, don't do that. Even though she put her hands on you, don't put your hands on her. But like lots of that, like, okay, this isn't what I wanted, or it's exactly what I wanted, but now I don't want it, which you're allowed to do. Lots of pivoting. It goes back to that decisions again. So many decisions, and sometimes you're going to make the wrong decision. It's okay, but you got to do that. Halisi doesn't have her ticket to Exodus Summit yet. Y'all shame her in the comments. Tell her she's not a good person, not a wise woman. She's not as great as you thought she was. Shame her, please, till she goes to get her credit card and buys a ticket. I loved Hong Kong. It was expensive. That's it. I had about one interaction with a woman at a tourist spot. It's always at a tourist spot. It's always at a tourist spot. Stephanie, is that no to shaming Halisi? How's she all caps, exclamation point, something I said? This is more like it. Anita finally did the right thing. You know, pretty particular, there was really no need to defend myself. Like I'm not going back to mainland China if I can help it. Because I almost swung on somebody. Like I was so close. Because they put hands on me. And I was like, oh no, I can't. That was one time where I was like, oh, like my physical, like my shoulder, and then I was like, nope, wait. Like in the middle of it, I was like, oh, wait, get out of that. But Hong Kong was fine. Other than that, mainland China, no. Mm-mm. I was in front of a door in one of their popular, Forbidden City. Oh, wait, that's not what I was trying to do. This is what I was trying to do. This is about me trying to shame Halisi. Okay, so we're not shaming her. But we would miss her. We would miss her. We are a loving kindness group. But if I've met you in person, I'll probably talk smack about you on the internet. I've met Halisi in person. So I'm in the Forbidden City, I think. I'm in front of this door. I'm taking a photo. A woman comes up from another angle, stands behind me, and tries to start taking a photo with me. But like she's selfieing with me, and I see her and I walk away. And she grabs my arm and pulls me back. And I was like, oh my, like, you know what, like initial reaction of like, what are we doing? Oh my God, what's happening? What? I can't believe I'm going to Chinese jail, right? Like, but I was with a tour group and I was like, I cannot get the tour group in trouble. Like, I don't know what I would have done on my own, but like with the tour group, I was with Up in the Air Life. Love their trips. Always recommend them. If you're looking for like a luxury experience, I recommend Up in the Air Life. And Claire, the owner. But when she reached, I can't get them in trouble. It was a white felt leadership moment because I wasn't in her way. I did not do anything to her besides attempt to remove myself from this photo. And she not like touched me like, hey, grabbed me and pulled. That's why China's no for me. It's a no. Nah, I'm good. Anyhow, lots of pivoting. Going to places where things like that happen and realizing you got to get out the country. Like this isn't for you. Or like I said, your Airbnb is not it. On my break, I was in Playa del Carmen. And the place I stayed had multiple roaches. And I complained to the host and he was like, it's Playa del Carmen. Every place has roaches. And I was like, this is not my first time here. I have stayed in homes here that don't have roaches. And maybe they did have roaches, but they had roaches who had enough shame to not sit in the middle of the floor when the lights are on and I'm walking past like it's my house. What you gonna do? The roach didn't even move when I turned the light on. The roach didn't move when I walked. The roach was alive, but the roach felt so much ownership over the place. I said, oh, pivot, right? There was a lot of like, oh, this is not. I've taken photos. There was a bug in the bed. It wasn't a bed bug, but there was a bug on the second night. I noticed these on the second night. I didn't pull I was really tired the first night. Didn't pull the sheets all the way back. Pulled them all the way back the second night. There was a bug in between the sheets. It's Playa del Carmen. Every place has roaches. I'm about to walk 2 blocks to my girlfriend's house who doesn't have roaches. I'll be there. I'll sleep on her couch. I slept on my girl's couch at night. Friends, it's always great to have a network because I'm not sleeping. He said, your response can't be every place has roach. Not even like there's some bug spray, which would have been like a low down, dirty response anyway. But like it would have been some kind of response. It would no, it's Playa. Every place has roaches. If every place has roaches, and that would mean this place always has roaches, it should be in the description, right? Because it's a feature, not what? Not a bug. It's a feature of this apartment. Roaches are a feature, according to you, of this apartment. Not a bug. This is not an oopsie. If every place has roaches, go ahead and put it in the description. Like every place in Playa del Carmen, we have roaches. Because you didn't do that, I'm going to go ahead and say this is not real. Because I've stayed in multiple places in the city without roaches, I'm going to go ahead and say this is not real. Airbnb ran me all my money back. All of it. But that night at like 10 o'clock, and we've been out on a boat all day, I came back and I was like, well, I'm not sleeping here. So what am I doing? I'm packing my things and I'm leaving. That amount of like pivoting that you don't have to do in normal life because you know if your home has roaches or not. And if you end up with a roach in your home in the middle of the night or like in the evening, you know what to do. Right? He said every place has roaches. It's Playa del Carmen. Every place has roaches. The key is back in the lockbox. I have checked out. I'm not even arguing with you. I took photos, hit up Airbnb. So you see, look at this. This roach is just chilling on the floor. I got my money back for the first night, all the nights, got everything. That kind of like, oh, this was not the experience I wanted, right? Like, and it's not that they're staying in a place in Playa del Carmen that had roaches did not ruin my experience in a way that I don't want to be a nomad, right? It was just annoying. And it's like those small annoying things along the way where you have to pivot. Not a big deal. In fact, even though this video is about things I hated about being a nomad, and I'm not a nomad anymore because I have a home with plants and a few books. Books are something I decided I'm not buying anymore, but I still end up I have books. That's my junk drawer. I have books. These are all the books I own. I used to have, Adelia can tell you because she cleaned out my storage unit with me. I had books. I had books. And now I have books. I could probably fill this entire wall with the books I had. I don't have them anymore. I don't want to do that again. Anyhoodle, I realized as I was nomading that I like having a home for my stuff, a home for my art, a home for my plants. I like having a desktop computer, which I couldn't have on the road because I'm not packing that with me. I'm not packing a screen. I'm not doing that. I like having a home, but even still, I get the itch. I get the nomad itch every once in a while. To be perfectly honest, like there are things I hated about it, but I loved that life. I loved it. Loved it. Love that life. I'm gonna go back on the road again. I know that I'm pretty sure that I'm going to spend December in Africa, probably in Johannesburg, because I love it, love it, love it, love it. And then I'll be probably in Africa all the way, or maybe I told myself that this year I was going to go to the Christmas markets in Europe, so maybe I'll do that on my way to Africa. Um, I need to get on that plan though, and then I'm going to go spend probably all the way till I see you guys in February, somewhere in South Africa, most likely. Maybe somewhere else. We'll see. But I'm bopping around probably from December to March, which means my plants will be with my under lovely care of my house cleaner, who does a great job with them. I think I had 2 plants last time. I had a plant sitter come in. 2 plants died while she was here last time. I had a plant sitter come in and I lost like 20-ish. So no more plant sitters. Because my house cleaner has to come. If I stopped paying my house cleaner because I wasn't here, she would find someone else to work for. And I appreciate her presence in my house more than I appreciate my own presence in my house. So we're never going to let that happen. We together for life. For life. As long as I live in this city, anywhere I go, I'm about to be like, how much do I have to pay to get to come over? Like what? What is it? What's the number you need? Scam me, con me, charge me too much. I don't care. What is the number you need to get paid? Tell me. So, yeah, I can't not pay her. So I got to pay her. Come through, water the plants, go home. Pay my utility bills when you see them. So, yeah, so I will be a nomad again this winter. I love it. I'm going to try to spend a lot of time in Africa. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to those of you that I can see in Cape Town and elsewhere. I'll be in Cape Town. I'll be in Johannesburg first. It is my favorite city. I like it more than Cape Town. But I think Cape Town is a great place for what we're doing, what we're going to be experiencing. Cape Town, y'all can climb Table Mountain if you want to. You can also take, the little cable car up to the top of Table Mountain, which is my answer. But if people climb it all the time, y'all could be out there climbing Table Mountain on some of your days off without us. That could be your adventure. Bring your hiking shoes or your tennis, whatever. I don't know what you need to climb Table Mountain. It's not my business because it'll never happen for me. So I'll be nomadic for probably 4 months at the end of the year, beginning of next year. And then I'll be back home. I try to be home during summit season because I like it when Stephanie and I are in the same time zone or close time zones because there's a lot of meetings, a lot of talking. And it's hard if one of us is like 12 hours away and we'd miss each other. So that is my plan. What is your plan? Like, it's time to be thinking of your plan for December, February, March. I hate saying that because those are third quarter problems. Those are Q4 problems. Those are Q1 24 problems. But I'm buying tickets early, y'all. I've already booked something for April of next year. I'm a whole new woman. A whole new woman. All right. So the 8 things that I didn't love about being a nomad were, I'm going to wrap them up for you right now. Learning new languages all the time, especially because it was always the colonizer's tongue. Like you got more bang for your buck by learning Spanish or French, some Italian, right, and English. But like, it's because they ran through and effed stuff up all around the place. Right? Having so many options that it's almost overwhelming. Number 2, not having a feeling of home or familiarity and feeling like an outsider. No plants is number 4 on my list, although I think it should be number 1. I moved some of the plants from back there to my kitchen because I tried a new watering method. I dunked them all. I usually bottom water or top water. I tried dunking them, submersing them all to see how that would do. And then I realized one of my plants has a problem. I need to fix it. I need to replant it. It came from the store with a problem. It was a gift from my housekeeper. She killed a plant. She brought a plant, and the plant she brought me is dying. And I just figured out why. I need to fix it. I know how to fix it. I can do that. Okay. The other was the expense, and I tried to be cheap. I didn't treat myself enough. I didn't care for myself enough in order to save money. And I shouldn't have done that. Fifth on the list is loneliness. I told you guys I could have stayed in Airbnbs, but it was like a room in someone's house or a hostel to deal with that. What I did instead was I took group tours, and that really helped. Sometimes I went to American brand hotels, sat in the bar, had a drink, or ate some food. Sometimes people would talk to me, which I don't need that. I just talk to someone else and let me overhear a conversation. And it'll remind me of just enough America without being too much. I usually stay at Marriott's, and I usually have access to the lounges. If it's like a real Marriott, they have lounges. When I was in Dubai the very first time, I came down to the lounge to get some food. I'm sitting next to this British guy, I think. He starts talking to me for no reason, talking about how safe he's lived here for years. I don't know, some yada yada yada. I didn't care. It was my first day there. I was tired. Talking about how safe it was. And how women are always safe here, and there are no sexual assaults in Dubai. Y'all got all them slaves in your homes. And y'all really want me to believe that? But okay, there are no sexual assaults that the news cares about or the police care about. All right. And they told me that there was recently, but it was her fault because of how she was dressed. And I was like, I don't need this direct conversation. Like truly just hearing it from a distance. This was a different trip to Dubai, not the one with Keena. A different trip to Dubai. I'm sorry, a different hearing this conversation from a distance, or hearing you talk to anyone about anything, and hearing English from a distance would have been enough. I didn't need you talking to me. Like, I don't need this direct contact, because either now I have to argue with you / educate you about a topic that you seem to think you have enough information about to just share so freely, or I have to end this quickly. And I do not, if I don't value people, I don't have to change your mind. You will not catch me arguing with people on the internet. Unless you are saying I did something that I didn't do, I'm not engaging in a back and forth with you about anything on the internet. It's like, if you're someone I love and care about, maybe like let's work through why you think that and I don't think that, and like what information you have, which information I have. But if I don't know you and I don't value your opinion, I'm not doing this. So I'm not doing any emotional labor with this man who's told me that sexual assault doesn't happen in this country. And like, I didn't say anything about safety. He's bringing this up. There's no sexual assault in this country. Ask them people whose passports are in someone's safe and they can't get them. Ask those women if there's no sexual assault in this country. I think the answer might be different. And why are we talking about? I did not ask. Why are we talking? Anyhow, that's why. The point was, so sorry. Sorry for anyone that's disturbed, but that's why I like to go to the bar, but not necessarily speak to people at the bar. We ain't got to do this. I don't need to be in your conversation because you're going to say some foolishness to me. And once I met some people at an ice cream shop, and this woman spent like 15 solid minutes trying to figure out how I could afford to travel. think she was either Australian or British. I think Australian. But like, what do you mean you don't work? Like what? Ask the question you want answered. Because if not, I'm just going to keep asking the question you've asked. I'm going to answer I am an answer the question you ask person. Until I say to you, ask the question you want answered. If I want to answer it, I will. If I don't, I won't. But like, you tiptoeing around, why are you? This is why, like, I get lonely and then I interact with people and then I'm like, no, I'm good. I am solidly good. I am solidly don't need this in my life. No, thank you. Go to a bar, get a drink, hear the conversation. It's enough. Because that direct conversation, I don't. Anywho, Stephanie told me that we can. Stephanie told me that we can announce tickets whenever we want. So soon. Probably not today. We'll send an email before it goes live. We don't expect tickets to sell out right away because we have that no refund policy and we want you guys to really think about it. I would like it if you guys spent today looking up flights and hotels and prices, because the flight price you see today probably isn't going to be significantly different from the flight price when we announce it, right? Like I know you look up a flight price one day and then if you can't buy your ticket for another month, it's a completely different flight price. We're not talking about a month later. We're talking very, very, very soon. Very, very soon. Stephanie told me who we saw in the chat. That is not one of the speakers. So no. And that was probably a bot because I don't know how she'd end up here. If I was famous, I don't know that I would use my own, like my name. I would probably have a burner YouTube account if I was watching YouTubes. I think I'd have a burner social media account for everything if I was famous. But no, it's not anyone you saw in the chat. Did we do it, friends? Did we cover it? I gave you my 8. We talked about the summit. We talked about Cape Town. We talked about speakers coming possibly this week that are not Iyanla. Although, if you'd like to come through, Miss Ma'am. Hi. I think that's it. Did I miss anything, y'all? Steph, did I miss anything? Yeah, Lenora. I just want to talk to you about like the weather and what fun place you went to in the city that I just got to. Why are you telling me it's perfectly safe unless I dress a certain way? That means it's not perfectly safe, dog. It's not safe. It's not a safe city. It's not. And not, but I had no intentions of dressing in a way that might invite sexual assault. But you know what that means? Stay inside the house, because anything you wear for predators is an invitation. Because it's not about you. It's not about what you do. It's about them. It's about power. You all know this. We ain't got to talk about this. But that man, I was like, I got here today. Today I landed in the city, and here you go. Making me want to throw something real quick. Today. Foolishness. I got up and left away very, very soon because what you mean it never happens here? Are there no men here? Is that what you're telling me? Because otherwise, it happens. Oh, in a country where women are not necessarily given the same freedoms as men, freedoms or rights as men, historically. Oh no, I'm sure never happens. Any hoodle. I think we did it. It's snack time for me. What y'all about to do? I'm about to snack. I'm about to eat some food. I'm also not going outside today. I have some more work to do. I have to write some emails. Because contracts are getting signed tomorrow, y'all. I'm going to announce these speakers with Stephanie very soon. We are doing this. I don't care. It's happening. New speaker announcement on Friday. If it doesn't happen on Friday, y'all, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm so tired. Stephanie said yesterday, pray for me. You ain't got to pray for me, but you can send me snacks. Thank you. We're doing this. It's going to be an amazing time. It's going to be an amazing time. I'm very excited. I'm going to be in Florida, we're in Florida and Vancouver. I'm going to Vancouver for Beyonce, which was my second time seeing this show. I saw it in London on a fluke. When I was going back to London after being in Morocco, I was going to be in the same city as Beyonce at the same time. So like I bought a ticket for like the next day. Like, oh, she's performing tomorrow. I'll be there. Right. And then my bestie was like, I want to go. I was like, oh, well, I'll go. It was my one time. I go to Vancouver every year. It's my one time going this year since we're spending Thanksgiving in La Paz. But before I go to Vancouver, I'm going to Florida. I'll be in Plantation, just outside of Fort Lauderdale, for about a week. The dates are unknown. Where I'll be is unknown because I'm beginning to think I should get a hotel, but that probably means I need to get a car as well. It just feels like a lot. But am I cheaping myself out of a better experience? What did we talk about? I should probably book a hotel. What I just say? I should probably book a hotel. All right, so I'm gonna get on that. We're gonna talk. I don't know what my days are. I have to look at my buying tickets from Mexico to the US to Canada to Mexico is such a hodgepodge. Because I bought them all on Delta, but because they were different airlines in different countries and I had to buy them all as different tickets. It would like because the carrier itself was different. Like I'm flying Air Mexico to the US, and then some Canadian airline from Florida, Miami, Vancouver, and then Air Mexico back from Mexico. Air Mexico has 2 flights from Vancouver to Mexico City a day. I'm taking the early one, not the late one. Yeah, no, I should have some good points for a hotel. I just gotta see what's close. I want to be close to them. It's really the rental car I don't want. Let me go see what they're talking about. Am I doing a meetup in Plantation? To echo the words of our good friend Stephanie, I'm not planning anything. I literally don't know what I'm doing. It is my goddaughter's birthday. So I mentioned maybe going to Disney World to her mom. And then I regretted it in like 2 seconds. Cause like, ew. Like, yes, but no. 2 kids, 1 still in the booster seat. Disney World? The last time I went to Disney World was on a spring break in college. It was a good time. My friend and I went late, like after all the kids had gone home, and like ran from park to park. Like ran from like ride to ride, and there was no line. I think we got there maybe at like 7 or 8, and like just pretty much had the place to ourselves. But I am 44. You know how long ago? You know how long ago spring break was? A minute or 2. I should get a hotel. So right now, I don't even know what my dates are, so I couldn't tell you. I know I'm not planning anything. I I tried to plan something in Merida, and the ladies were like, no. Yeah, it's also very hot. I don't Disneyland. There's many reasons Disney World doesn't sound like a good idea to me. The heat is one of them. But I tried to plan a meetup. People in the Exodus Summit Facebook group were like, no response. My mom invited people to the house. They were in the house. They spent a whole day at her house. I know who the popular one here is. It's fine. I'm not bitter at all. Any hoodle. Yes, Beyonce part 2. Also, like Stephanie, I've been shopping like crazy because I either have people bring things to me when they're coming down, or when I'm going to the US, I'm going up with pretty much, I made a list last night of the things I don't need and the things I need. So I've been shopping since June for my trip in August. Sending things to my cousin's house. I bought some clothes for the summit. Do I need clothes for the summit? No. Does it make sense in my mind? Yes. I bought some clothes that maybe I can wear in South Africa. Will I wear them in South Africa? Maybe. Who knows? Bought some of everything. Of everything. I'm excited. So I get to pick up the stuff that I've purchased. No desire to go to Disney. Yeah, I haven't. That year that I lived in Florida, I didn't go to Disney one time. I went to Orlando once. We didn't even think about going to Disney. I think that's it. My shopping for the summit was like, I need stuff that's cute from here up. Here up. And that's it. So I'll be cute from here up. Like today I'm wearing very old and baggy pants. They were supposed to be like tight leggings, but they haven't been in a while. And not because I've lost weight, just because they're very cheap. And yeah. Oh yeah, some of you are participating in no spend challenges. I am not participating. Before I go to the US, there is an exception for me. I don't buy any because I don't buy things here. We've talked about this before. Things be crazy expensive. Like the conditioner I use this Innocence conditioner. I can't remember how much it was in the US. I looked at it when I was in Thingy. But one of the things I looked at, I don't know if it was Vigel or I think it was Vigel, the Uncle Funky's Curly Magic something. It was $16 to get it on Amazon in the US. To get it on Amazon in Mexico, it was $50-something. Baby, no, I won't. Let me just go ahead and get it in the US. So no, before I go to the US, there's no spend challenge. The summit starts on the 16th. That would be Cape Town. Cape Town is the 16th through the 20th. Miss Baby Girl says she's seeing 1,300 from New Jersey. Ew! Y'all get on it. Look up tickets. Look up Airbnbs. If you can see something you love and it's cancelable, I had to pay a little more to buy cancelable hotel rooms. But I was like, just in case they act up, I'm doing that. Do it. Book something that you can cancel. Yes. Join Adelia. I did a no spend month last January. And I have a really great method of not spending money that I'll talk about on my other channel sometime soon. The video for that has been like buzzing in my brain. I haven't made it, but not yet. $1,300 is a great price. Was it 2 years ago I did the no spend challenge? Adelia knows better than I do. I don't know. I tell you, time for me, Stephanie says money isn't real. I say time isn't real. Like, it's just, what does that mean? What is that? I don't know. Tomorrow problems. Ooh, 7:49 from Lisbon. Come on through to Cape Town. Um, Also, if you're coming to Cape Town from America, consider spending some time in Europe on either end. If there's a place in Europe you want to go, like if you want to do a scouting trip somewhere, because most flights you can get it direct on some airlines. Like I think Delta flies directly from Atlanta to Johannesburg, but most of the airlines are going to stop somewhere. So make sure if you're going to stop somewhere, either way, see if you can make it an adventure. I love adventure trips. So yeah, so from the flights from Lisbon are always going to be cheaper. Flights from Europe are always going to be cheaper because they don't have to cross that whole ocean. Our plan right now, which is subject to change, is we're going to be doing events near the Victoria and Albert waterfront, V&A waterfront. But we only have one collective event together. Last year, the woman who stayed in the hotel all kind of hung out together. We had breakfast. We would see each other after, whatever. We can still do that if we still stay at the hotel we're planning on staying at. But we did not do a block of rooms this year. Okay. I like explaining things to you, so I'm gonna say this last thing and I'm gonna get out of here. The reason we didn't do a block of rooms this year was the hotel was like, you have to guarantee them. So like, if you guys don't book them, we have to pay for them. And there were no concessions. Like last year, they were like, and we'll comp, I think, 1 room or 2 rooms, right? But this year they were like, you get nothing. Well, we might give you something later on. We'll decide later on if we want to give you something, but you have to guarantee the rooms and get nothing in return. We were like, why would we? And the price was no lower. The price, in fact, for a lot of hotels we looked at, and even America, the price we looked at was higher than the price on the website. So it's higher than the price on the website. We have to guarantee them. And if you guys don't book them, we have to pay for them. And we get nothing out of, there's no concession. There's no, here's some rooms. There's no upgrade, nothing. They said, no, it's the busy season. We can't guarantee you rooms. Why would we book a block of rooms then? It's not your A plus your B. They're not, you speaking Klingon to me. I don't get it. So perfectly transparent. That's why we did not do a block of rooms like we did last year. Also, the block of rooms last year worked really well for some people and really poorly for other people. Your bookings are on your own. We are not involved at all. We will tell you where we're going to be. That's it. If you want to book a room there, we're going to tell you as soon as possible so you can get in there and book rooms, but that's up to you. We're out of the room block booking business. Any hoodle. Yes, Goshan, I had a member meet up this week. My members of my YouTube membership, they're here their names are in green. Oh, no, their names are in green for me. I don't know what you guys see for members of the YouTube because I'm looking at StreamYard. Any hoodle. We meet every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. This last week was our accountability session. We're coming back to the group about the things that we've asked the group to hold us accountable for. And we talk about our progress, how we're doing, et cetera, et cetera. Every Thursday, 9 p.m. I announce it day of or sometimes a couple days before. Goshan, if I remember, I'll try to tag you this week when I do it. I'll probably forget though because I be forgetting stuff. You know that. Somebody in the membership, tag Goshan if you remember. I'd be forgetting stuff. Took a photo of that, so I remember to do it. All right. Event planning was recently listed as a top 10 stressful job. That's why Francis is doing it this year. That's why it's on Francis. And Stephanie and I just walk in like, nah. No. Yes. Yes. No. But like we've shifted most of that work to Francis because it's stressful. If we had to do the summit and Cape Town at the same time, y'all would probably get neither. None. So we're doing the summit stuff. Francis is planning Cape Town, and we love the way it's coming together. So very soon, look out for an email that tells you when we're going to announce it. We're probably going to announce it in the Facebook group and not on YouTube, although Stephanie and I haven't really talked about that, so it might be both. But if you're not in the Facebook group and you really want to go, I would get in the Facebook group right now. That is exodussummit.com/community. We'll take you there. And look up prices of tickets before you buy a ticket. Because ain't no chargebacks, ain't no refunds. Don't go to your credit card company being like, I changed my mind. Because it says right there, non-refundable on the site. It says non-refundable. Don't try to be shady. You guys are not shady people. I know that. Every once in a while, though, something happens and we got to be like, no. We were very clear every time we talked about it when we said this thing. Don't act up. Tickets are transferable, though. And last year, I think most people who wanted to transfer their ticket unless they canceled at the last minute. Africa with you guys is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun. I'm excited. I cannot wait to see this happen, to make it really, really happen. I will talk to you guys later. Snack time. Dominic just reminded me I'm still talking when I should be eating. Adios. Until next time. Goodbye.